Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what it do, what it is, what's happening, what it been to be, what up, though, what's happening? It's your guy Nate Bennett on another amazing episode of the Extraordinary Exchange podcast. I got my co-host Benz here in the building. What's good, Benz?
We back, baby. Another episode, another great guest. Let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Another phenomenal guest, man. This brother, it's crazy. Everybody says a bunch of the guys in the investment group. Shout out to the Extraordinary Investment Group. They are who and why we do what we do over here. They say a couple of guys know everybody. You know, Pitts being one of them, Sean being one of them. And I seen Pitts had commented on something you had not too long ago. Mind you, this is after we had connected, after, you had sent me the pitch deck. And I was like, hey, Pitts, I seen you commented on Bobby stuff. You know, he's like, oh, man, it's my brother. I'm like, oh, what the heck? We've been trying to connect with Bobby for a minute. Aaron Pitts.
Yeah, that's family, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I'm just admiring your stuff from a distance because we always every Friday, we say every Friday is Black Friday. So we highlighted your stuff on Friday. You reached back out to us and just built that bond just on social media. And then come to find out, this was what? 6 months, a year ago, and now we're gonna find out. You family with folks in here in E.I.G. But for those of y'all out there who don't know this brother, he is the creator and CEO of My OTB, My Overnight Bag. You've seen the branding all over the place from A-list celebrities, like he was talking about, from Fred Hammond, Jim Jones, D.L. Hughley, Cat Williams, Marlon Wayans, Kevin Hart, like. Every time I turn around, this guy is got a different A-list celebrity with My Overnight Bag in their hand. But premium brand, you'll get to know about him. You'll get to know about the branding, and it's gonna be a good episode, man. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the podcast, Mr. Bobby Daniels. What's good, Bobby?
Appreciate you for having me, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Absolutely. So let's get down to it, man. Like, tell the people, who you are, how you got involved with that dope brand, and why it is you do what you do.
All right. So my name is Bobby Daniels. Let's say I started in the music industry because that's initially where everything started from. I started in the music industry around 2002 while I was still in high school. My younger brother came to me, Kevin Ross. So Kevin came to me saying that he wanted to sing. I said, cool. Took him in the studio. We started working from there. And we did, I think what jump started the career was us doing 106 in Park. That was the biggest thing that we've done. Actually, what's crazy is that was me and Kevin's very first event together, 106 in Park, which is, it's still mind blowing. So I started in the music industry, managed Kevin for a little bit. Then I kind of got into bodyguarding. From bodyguarding, I got into management. Again, I started picking up other artists. I was working with this Latin kid from the DMV who was super talented. Ended up getting him signed to Warner Chappell. Started developing relationships in both the Latin space, and already had a lot of relationships in the R&B and hip hop space. So I just kept working with him until, one day I was actually challenged to make a duffel bag, which is how overnight travel bags got started. You know how we do from the DMV, we join on everybody. So I saw somebody I knew that had a duffel bag that was kind of like crazy. Came to the airport with a purple joint that had tears and rips and flowers on it. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And I just started clowning him. So he was like, well, make me something. So I said, all right, bet. On a flight from DC to Amsterdam, I just was looking out the window and all I saw was a crescent moon and stars the entire flight. So that's kind of where the idea of overnight travel came from, because it was a red eye flight. So when I got there, by the time we got to Amsterdam, I ended up developing a name, a design for the first duffel bag. Yeah, I just started with the brand itself. It wasn't just one piece. I kind of developed the entire brand during that flight. So yeah, that's what birthed Overnight Travel Bags, and that was 2 years ago in January 2023.
So while that time you're in the music business, you're doing security, those type of things. What about creating that bag made you say, "Yep, this is the brand I want to run with. I want to double down on this"? Was it what about that experience made you want to say, "Yep, I'm gonna continue with this"?
Honestly, it was just one of them things where, it just felt right. So it wasn't new for me to design things because throughout Kevin's career, I designed, different merch for him. I designed different exclusive things for him. So I wasn't new to designing, but I wasn't, I was brand new to the whole fashion, on a large scale. But yeah, once it became a second nature, and I was just like, this is it. This is my lane, actually. Neo was the one that actually retired me from bodyguarding, which is crazy. Yeah. So I was actually out with him at Air a couple. Actually, yeah, 2023. We was at Air celebrating, and he was like, "Bro, have a drink." And I told him, "I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I'm looking out for you. Like, I can't drink and I'm on duty." And he was like, "Look, you either got to pick one or the other because I can't tell people that you're a designer, but my bodyguard." So I was like, that's a solid one right there. Like, he was like, "You got to pick or choose." And it just made more sense. Like at the time, I had just gave him a custom bag because I designed some bags for him for his tour, the Champagne and Roses tour. Then I designed a custom bag for him for, just to show appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Kind of just to let people know, like, hey, I'm here. And yeah, so it was just one of them things I had to pick or choose.
And that's a good story. Because I was asking because oftentimes in the urban community, they start with, I want to build a brand or build a lifestyle brand, but they always stop at t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, the all days mile. Simple, getting your logo out there. Just on simple
Hmm.
stuff. So it's rare that people go to the accessories and specifically even the bag line. So I want to know what made that the one you say, yeah, I'm gonna roll with this. That's a good answer though. That hey, if the people who are the tastemakers are telling you it's time to make a move,
Hmm.
make a move.
Yeah, like I said, plus for me, I've done the t-shirt thing. I've done the tour merch. I've designed tour merch for quite a few artists. But, t-shirts are cool. That's not really my thing. I mean, I got some for overnight travel bags, but my thing have always been kind of like having a dope duffel bag or a dope backpack. Right before I started overnight travel bags, I was rocking Under Armour, the Rocks bags, because them joints, I mean, they were stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the nice designer looking duffel bag that I just threw on my back that kind of looked like a duffel slash backpack. That started being my vibe. And I was just like, all right, cool. I love these bags. So yeah, designing bags just was like, all right, cool. I know what I like. I know, people like what I like. So let me just start trying to make it happen, make it work.
Yeah, I love the branding behind the crescent moon and the stars too. Like hearing that story, I'd like to see that come through and maybe in some of your branding because that's ridiculous. Like just seeing that it's such a clean design, the embossment on it.
Hmm.
So being that you were familiar with like tour merch, how did you start to fine tune like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do the duffel bags. You also got the passport bags and the wallets and all that. From the business perspective, how did
Hmm.
you kind of like source some of the materials for the stuff to create it? Like, boom, peel the onion a little bit behind somebody that maybe wants to get into that merchant space. How did you go about doing all that?
The main thing, I just started doing my research, trying to find which countries source the best leather. I worked with a Pakistani company. I've done stuff with an Indian company, and honestly, I didn't like neither style. I ended up finding a Chinese manufacturer through a friend of mine, and then I did prototypes from them. So I did 3 prototypes before I found a company that actually made the bags the way that I actually like the bag. Um, Again, at first it was just like people was just sewing leather together, like boom, 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 and then calling it a duffel bag. I was like, nah, this ain't it. I ended up finding a manufacturer that put some structure behind it, and after they put structure like on the bag, I'm like, wait, this looks different. Like, you know what I'm saying? I never seen a duffel bag that had like a somewhat of a firmness to it at the time. So and then I use leather. So I actually use vegan leather, which is sustainable leather. So once I designed it and did a couple prototypes, then I finally found different things that I didn't like about the bag with the last prototype. And then I started tweaking it, going back and forth, back and forth. It took me roughly about 2 to 3 months to perfect it, roughly 6 different versions of the bag.
I know a lot of people. We had a couple on the podcast before, who have had issues when
Mm-hmm.
trying to get things manufactured overseas. The prototype doesn't look like what they end up getting, things of that nature. Do you have any tips for those people who are looking for overseas manufacturing, how to find good ones, how to find reviews, those type of things?
Now since the whole Trump situation happened and the Chinese manufacturers started coming out the woodwork talking about, how much people paying, like these luxury brands
Right.
are paying, for their bag designs, I would just say keep an eye out for stuff like that. There's actually a trade show called Magic where you can go and meet different manufacturers. What I would say is just never settle. If there's something that you see that you don't particularly care for, just keep, it costs money. I will say that it costs money because you got to make sure that your prototypes are your exact vision. So if it costs a couple thousand just to make sure you perfect the product that you're doing, I would just say keep going at it. Just find out, keep tweaking it until you feel like your product is perfect. That's literally what I had to do. I just had to keep finding different manufacturers until one made it to the quality of which I liked. Again, it's not a cheap thing. T-shirts, $3, $4, $5. Bags, you talking, 30s, 40s, 50s.
You sourcing your materials, you picking the right manufacturer for your stuff. How are you going about your marketing? Because again, I don't know what that looks like. Again, you
Mm-hmm.
got to me, it just looks like a luxurious, successful brand because you have successful people that have the
Mm-hmm.
bag in their hands. You know what I'm saying? Is that your main marketing angle? Or is that other marketing behind it? Like how did it become just all right, cool, this is good quality? I tell people all the time as a someone who owns a marketing agency, if you have a quality product but no one knows about your product, you're not going to scale. People are not going to purchase your product. So
Mm-hmm.
just kind of about your marketing. How are you doing that?
So just simply what you just said, if you have a great product and nobody knows about it, I mean, the thing that I took from that was I got a gift. That was my main strategy, just getting the brand's name out there. Even having A-list celebrities wearing it, it didn't mean that the masses knew about it. It got real big in the circle in the industry where they're talking about me in the industry where now people come to DC and they like, all right, bet we know Bobby gonna be here. Or, for instance, when I was at the Comedy Factory one night, I was just sitting in the chair just chilling, and Lavelle Crawford walked by and he was like, yeah, where's that bag dude at? And I'm like sitting there laughing because I'm like, yeah, he don't even know it's me sitting here.
Mm.
So yeah, so at one point, me just gifting out, it started developing the brand's name and people started recognizing it. And then I do a lot of giveaways too. So starting out a business, you just got to expect to spend some bread because marketing, getting your name out there is not cheap. It cost me a lot of products. Like
Mm.
I think I was roughly maybe 400, 500 bags in before I started seeing money. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking 2 to 3 shipments before I actually started seeing some money roll in. So yeah, it costs a lot of money to start the bag. I mean, start a brand. What's up, bro?
Well, first of all, shout out to Lavelle Crawford. I just seen him in Happy Gilmore too. That joint was a decent movie. Say that again. It took you about a few hundred bags before you started
Yeah,
seeing money. That's the stuff right there that people need to understand. Talk
Hey,
yeah,
talk.
and
it doesn't happen overnight.
the gym in that too. Also, we talked about earlier. We used to hearing that people talk about $4 Gildan T-shirts they put a little logo on. He's talking
Right.
about high quality items at a decent margin. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
dollars and cents wise, it may cost you money to begin the brand and get it out there and get it out there and to get the recognition that you need to make money on the back end. It's a
Mm-hmm.
great point to bring up.
Exactly. Yeah, it definitely costs money to get your brand out there. It doesn't happen overnight. Like even with me starting out, Neo was one of the first celebrities that I gave a bag to. He promoting it, pushing it, posting pictures of me and him, but it didn't move the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So just having one celebrity or one person backing it does not mean that you're going to take off. You see what I'm saying? So that's where my drive came. It was like, all right, cool. I've been in the game for 20, 21 years. Let me start reaching out to all of these different relationships that I have and, sending people free bags and, connecting with people and just, just handing out stuff, being in the trenches, going to these clubs, going to venues, going to comedy shows, going to concerts, utilizing different relationships I have, taking trips outside of Maryland, and just going to pop up on people that I know just to get footage. So it's a hustle, it's a grind. I mean, I was like taking trips like the Vegas, LA, uh, Dallas, Atlanta with bags just to pull up on people that that I knew had shows in these different places to be like, hey, I know you know me from doing this, this, and this, but this is what I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a nonstop hustle.
There's two entrepreneurs I'm connected to that are always outside. And as a father of two girls, I'll be at home. I'll be trying to do as much stuff virtually, but I understand the impact of in-person networking. You know what I'm saying? I've been there, done that. But you, my man Ken, are always outside, bro. Always outside and putting in the work. Like it shines through. Like we see you. I see the hustle. I'm like, man, that man don't get tired. But yeah, man. Salute. Shout out to you and your hustle, man.
Appreciate that, bro.
Piece of advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
If knowing what you know now, and this is always a funny question because it's like we just talked about before we start recording. Everything happens for a reason, right? There's a reason why you go through the thing. The test ends up being your testimony, kind of thing. Knowing what you know now, if you had to change 2 to 3 things that would have made that process go a little easier. Talk to Bobby from 3 years ago. What would you have done differently to make that process a lot smoother?
Nothing. Because like I told you, just standing on that model, everything happens for a reason. It was some things that happened during the time of me developing a brand, bro, where literally I just felt like I had to get it out. And like, just to be very transparent, I kept hearing God tell me, you need to keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. There was times, bro, where I was literally about to get my house foreclosed on because I kept hearing God tell me, this, you have to be here. You have to do this. These things are, they're necessary. Being as though I didn't have any backing, I'm taking my government checks and putting everything behind my brand. I'm paying for shipments. I'm paying for, the manufacturing and all of that stuff. And it got to the point where it low key felt like an obsession for me. Like, all right, if I had an idea, I have to get this idea out. If I don't get the idea out, I feel convicted. Because again, I feel like God put me in this position to help people. It's this brand ain't for me, and it's not built just to be a luxury brand. I feel like I want to, I'm listening to God telling me how to move, but I feel like this brand is also going to change lives. I feel like it's going to put me in a position where I'm able to help other people. So I just keep my eyes open, keep my ears open, just being obedient to where I'm told. So going back to the question, I wouldn't change anything. There was long nights, nights I stressed out where I couldn't sleep because I was trying to figure out how to pay bills because I needed a shipment. But at the end of the day, birds in the air don't worry about how they're going to eat. They don't worry about food. So, I don't necessarily stress over bills anymore. I don't necessarily stress over the minor things. I allow God to continue to provide for me as long as I'm doing the work that He's designing, destined for me to do. I already know my bill's gonna get taken care of. And no point of me stressing or being upset or trying to figure things out because it's already figured out. He told us our steps are ordered. Like everything is already destined. So yeah, I don't change anything, bro. I wouldn't change anything.
That's a testimony because at the end of the day, a lot of times we wish things were different or wish one thing changed, and then never knowing how that one change could affect everything. You might not be where you are now if you change that one little thing. So 100%.
Exactly.
So,
I mean,
it's
since starting this brand, I didn't have people change up on me crazy. Like artists I was managing got jealous over my brand, taking off faster than his music career. So he ended up leaving me and rolling with my partner. Like literally just kicked me out of my own company, the company that I started, you know. So again, all of that was necessary. You know what I'm saying? You will start seeing people's true intentions, true colors as, success go. And shout out to my little brother Kevin, because Kevin, he actually says this. He's like, yo, you got to learn how to clip wings, as you're soaring, because not everybody's destined to go to the next level with you. Regardless of who it is. It may be family, it may be friends, maybe relationships, maybe business partners. People get jealous and they envy, and you may not always see it, but it is good if you do pay attention, and start noticing the different things and the different actions and how people switch up. So that's why I keep saying, like, everything happens the way that it happens. Me falling out of love with music was probably my best thing, like the best thing that ever happened to me. Me, that artist switching sides on me was probably the best thing that happened to me, because during that time too, it drew me closer to Christ. Seeing how somebody I had a relationship with for 24 years, my business partner, like my sister, switch up on me. And yeah, so like I said, everything is happening the way it's supposed to in its design.
Similar to that story of things playing out the way they're supposed to play out in your story. Past 2, maybe 3 years, maybe a little longer, the prevalence of men with all types of bags has become a cultural thing. But you started the journey before that. So did you foresee this happening? This cultural shift to because it sounds like you're perfectly placed at the right time for that to happen.
I honestly didn't. Bro, literally, I was just doing what I was supposed to do. That's the biggest thing for me. Sometimes we get placed in certain positions, we get placed in certain lanes where we have no idea. Bro, I had no idea how to start a bag business. Literally no idea. I didn't even know where to start. But again, I feel like, it was purpose driven. So I had no worries. I just rocked with it, and I followed. Like I said, I just followed what I was told. The designs, I'm a classic guy. Like I love just plain and simple simplicity. It just speaks more. It's bold to me. So that's the approach that I took with the very first bags before I even started diving into designing. It was just more so like, let me be simple, because I'm a simple guy. People like simplicity. You just slap that OTB right in the middle and keep it rocking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So it was just me being, like I said, just following what I felt was right, and just listening and keeping my eyes on what the prize was. And yeah, God followed, like he walked me through where I needed to go.
The crazy thing is, I noticed that joint, as simple as it is, like you said, it's simple, it's clean, it's luxury, but I can spot it out when I'm out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have to be loud, a bunch of patches, a bunch of colors, but like, oh, I know what that is. Like, I seen it out a couple of times. I'm like, no, I know what that is right there. It's like, it's crazy.
Bro, it's crazy because people be hitting me in airports. Like, my man hit me in Atlanta, and he was like, yo, I just seen the dude with your bag on, bro. And I'm like, how'd you know it was mine? He was like, look, you can't mistake an overnight travel bag. Like, you can't mistake your design for anybody else's design. And that was something that I pride myself with. Like, I am being compared to the Louis and the, and the Gucci's and stuff because of the monogram print that I have, but the quality is also comparable. And, a lot of the other up and coming bag companies, or let's say, I feel like there's different tiers to the bag business. So a lot of the other mid-tier companies, that's well established, multi-million-dollar companies, it's like, all right, cool. You see their products, you're like, all right, cool, I know it's theirs. But also for me to just jump in a game and people to recognize my stuff out the break, it's a blessing. You see what I'm saying?
So when you say tiers, talk about the tiers. Are there tiers just in pricing, tiers in quality? Like what would you, without you saying any names? This we dedicated to your brand on this joint. But yeah, how would you rank the different tiers of luxury, or a luxury bag, but just bags in general?
I would say you have the top tier, which is the, the Louis, the Gucci's. Then you have like mid tier companies. I'm not even gonna get into that because some people may take offense to it because of the
Yeah.
names, the name
But
brands.
does it go by quality, price point? What would you consider?
Both.
Okay.
I look at the tiers as both. It all depends on the material, the price point, the quality. Because you have some mid tiers that pretty much their bags fall apart within a couple months, but yet they're everywhere. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They have huge names in the bag business. The quality may not be the greatest. You have some companies that don't use leather. They use more canvas than actually selling leather products. And being as though I do leather, I haven't gotten into canvas. I don't think I'm really interested in canvas, but the leather that I use, like I said, I manufacture with some, other major manufacturers. I use the same one as them. So I just found a lane for me for, the material that I wanted. And then you have the low tiers, which are like the up and coming businesses that just started, or, the ones that's trying to get started. Those are I call them the low, the bottom tier, you know, companies, because they haven't really developed the household name yet, or they haven't really developed the street name yet. So those are like the newer companies. Yeah, the smaller brands.
You talked about it a second ago. Recently, when Trump was doing his tariff thing, a lot of the Chinese manufacturers came out and said, "Oh, a lot of manufacturers all around the world said, oh, we're really the manufacturer for XYZ big brand and this by other big brand." And so you came to find out, hey, some of those lower tier brands are actually manufacturing in some of the more higher end
Hmm.
manufacturers. How, as a consumer, when you're attempting to purchase something of luxury, what are you looking for to know if your luxurious item really is worth what you're paying for? Because
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be.
I said because of this. A lot of times we go for things that we hear are supposed to be luxury
Mhm.
and want to pay a lot of money for it, but don't know what we're looking for that's basically luxurious as opposed to getting the cheap brand and saving $100.
So I've never been a brand whore, as I call them. Like I've never been a brand whore. I've gotten maybe one or two designer pieces, but I've always been the type of person, I make my own stuff. And that's where that entrepreneur attitude came into play for me, because it was like, all right, cool, the bigger names are cool, but I never spent a dollar with a Louis. I never spent a dollar with a Gucci. um so for me, it just was, I look at people that do it. I'm like, all right, cool, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But I'd rather take, $200-300 and go make a product myself, throw my own logo on it and rock that. And again, that's kind of how overnight travel bags is. It's like, I don't make designs for the people. I make designs that I like, and I put it out there and see, hey, this is the new bag. I don't ask people for permission. I do it, and then if you like it, you like it, you support it. But yeah, I've never been one of those people that spend dollars with the bigger brands. I support a street brand, or like a local brand. Like you would see me rocking Life, Sabiato, Bonadaci, uh, what was it, Flies and Yachtsmen, Greatness and Wealth. These were all local brands that, I had relationships with the owners and stuff like that. So I would rock their clothes before I throw on a Gucci or Louis or whatever. So yeah, it was one of them things like, all right, I just need to make my own versus me following the trends.
And speaking of trend, that's one trend I can appreciate that we do more now. I guess it's kind of cool for outside, the big box brands to support black, but seeing
Hmm.
black people really support other black brands and keeping our
Hmm.
dollar circulated in our community, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you just see a more push for us doing that. Like for forever, we always complain about other ethnic groups supporting each other, and oh man, we crabs in the barrel, we don't ever do so and so. But it's definitely been a trend, definitely since the pandemic, of black brands and black consumerism supporting black brands. So I get behind that trend all day.
Yeah, because what people fail to realize is, back in the 1900s, there was a black wealthy community who they kept the black dollar within the community. I mean, we talking like hospitals, banks, schools, everything that was owned by the black folks. And actually, it was really two prominent communities that I'm not sure a lot of people may know about, but the Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. Then you had a lot of people know it as Central Park today. There was actually a black community that was flooded on purpose in New York, where the black dollar was prominent, and they saw people were building, using the black dollar. So I've always been a supporter of the black owned businesses, and supporting my friends and my family or whoever that I consider as a loved one. Whatever business venture that they do, I fully support them because I know how it is being an entrepreneur. So yeah, I support all black businesses and brands. And I love the fact that people are stepping behind and supporting me as well. So yeah.
I remember my pops not too long ago sent me a video of Tunis Campbell. He was another cat from the 1800s that built. I think he was born into slavery, um, became a freeman, developed all this, got into politics. Just was pretty much like a hero that nobody knows about. I had never even heard the name, and I just went down a rabbit hole, started researching him, and he had like whole communities that he had developed of just black excellence, man. So despite the current push through DEI regulations and them trying to whitewash a lot of what we've done, man, I urge everybody in our community to do some more digging into who we are, have some pride behind it, and then it spills out into entrepreneurs like yourself, because I know some super talented people, right, that are way more talented than me, but don't have the guts to bet on themselves like you did. You know what I'm saying? Talking about your house about to be foreclosed because you're trying to get stuff done. People are afraid to really step out on faith and chase their dreams. They'll rather stay comfortable. And
Exactly.
it's a shame almost, because again, I'm not special, but I'm willing to just put myself out there and try new things, experiment. Like you said, you started this off a bet. It took a flight, and by the end of the flight, you had a purpose and you had a passion. So that's dope.
So as you look forward, is there any plans to add different products, different lines? Like, how do you want to expand the brand moving forward?
Talk about the cigars. No, talk about the cigars.
Every day I wake up, there's a new bag company. Every day. And it never fails. Like, I'm gonna give y'all this story real quick. So one of my favorite rappers, right? And this was when I was like actually listening to rap. So he was actually one of my favorite rappers, and I met him. And you know how they say sometimes, it's not always the best thing to meet your favorite people. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of them situations. Like, I hopped on a Millennium tour, and shout out to my brother DJ 24. And like we just we was hopping on different tours and stuff like that, but hopped on the Millennium tour with 2-4, and we get around one of my favorite rappers. And mind you, I've been in the game for 20 years. This is somebody I've never met, but we have a lot of close friends. So I was low-key excited to meet him. And I went and approached him. Mind you, a lot of people on the tour knew who I was, or if they didn't know who I was, I did the tour 4 days. So, by the second or third, if it wasn't like my folks, then it was like, all right, cool. We know that's the bag dude. That's a When I Travel bag. So their campers show love because they saw me in multiple cities. So yeah, so I finally got my shot to meet him. He was walking. I'm like, yo, I'm the owner of Overnight Travel Bags. He looked at me, turned his head, and kept walking. I was just like, oh, snap. Like, yo, that was super disrespectful. Like, just the way he did it, it was like mad disrespectful, to the point where his camp ran back and was like, yo, I seen you in DC. Look, this is why we can't, he can't take whatever it is that you got because he just started, or he just did a business deal with another brand, another bag company. So I was like, okay, cool. But you didn't have to just like walk past me like disrespectful. Like, you didn't even hear me out. Like, it wasn't even like, yo, like the manager stopped and was like, yo, what's good, Bobby? Dap me up. And he looked at him and just like kind of just turned his head and kept walking. So I said all of that to say that, every day it's a new bag business because the bag company that he's working with, I never heard of him. I never even seen anything about him. And it's multiple bag companies that's just starting that I'm coming across, and I'm like, all right, cool. They got some dope stuff. Like they got some nice stuff. Like I like their brand. I even supported a couple bag businesses and purchased their products just to, kind of see what the competition was, show love and all that good stuff. I even reached out to him like, yo, I'm the CEO of Overnight Travel Bags. Like, I like your brand. Like, I've done that with multiple people, but yeah, every day it's a new bag business. So it's kind of like, yeah, like even though the market is getting oversaturated, you still just got to keep to whatever your mission is, and that's what I'm doing.
And do you want to stay in bags?
Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so my fault. I kind of geared off of your
Oh, no, you
question.
good.
The reason why I said all of that was because most companies, when they come out, they're only doing backpacks or duffel bags, or some are doing toiletry bags, some may be doing crossbodies. It's funny because the company I was just talking about, that's all the four that they have. That's not where I stopped. I did everything, and I kind of want to get into the other bags, but I kind of don't, because when I pop out with this stuff, y'all gonna be like, "What? That nigga thought of that? That's crazy!" Like, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think that there was a lane for that. So, yeah. So I have multiple, products that I just haven't released. I will tell you this: this is an exclusive though. I am about to drop my chef bag. Yeah. So I designed a bag for chefs, as I am a former chef.
I'm about to
So I
say,
designed a knife bag for chefs.
yeah, like I'm not a chef. I could chef up stuff in my kitchen, but I'm not formally trained. Like, what
You
does that
you
look
been
like?
around with the chef got the little joint with the knives all in the little roll up in his little. You seen that joint before, Bennett?
I
See,
seen
you know
that.
what?
Is that what he talking
I
about?
didn't go
No,
that
but like
I
in
didn't
the
go that
back, the
lane.
supply shit though.
Right.
Nah, I didn't go that lane. I didn't go
Okay.
the roll up knife bag. Nah, I did
Mm.
an actual bag that folds out into what you're thinking.
Okay.
So it's like an actual backpack. It has straps and everything that you unbuckle pieces and it folds out into, yeah. So it's
Mm.
super different. And I tested the market a little bit with a couple chefs that I know, and they was just like, yo, this is it. This is it. But to speak on a couple other products, I do have the cigar cases that I designed. Funny story behind that. Every weekend for maybe 3 weeks, it literally, that wasn't something that was on my radar because I never been a cigar smoker.
Mm.
So it just so happens I'm around, the big brothers and the unks. So I'm out with like, Sid the Entertainer, shout out to Sid, and DL Hughley and Marlon Wayans, and it's just so many that I was with in a matter of like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, where I'm hearing people saying, yo, the cigar, let's go to the cigar lounge, let's do this, cigar that. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. I'm listening, God. Like I hear you. And then my uncle called me the following day and was just like, yo, I got this cigar event. And I'm like, all right, okay. This is different because he's never said anything about cigars to me. And then the next week, I was with October London, and he mentioned cigars, and that's his thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. Give me 1 second, I'll be back. I had to find me a manufacturer. So I
Mm.
developed and designed the cigar cases, and I did a custom for Cat Williams, I did a custom for Marlon Wayans, and I did a custom for October London. And after doing those customs, just seeing their reaction, it was just like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm on to something. I'm also a big watch fan. So instead of, me going out and buying Rolexes and stuff like that, I was like, look, let me do my own.
Okay.
So I started designing watches, socks. I'm a huge fan of socks. So, anybody from the DMV, we know you gotta have a clean sock game.
Right.
Like you gotta have the socks to match the shoes or the outfit or whatever. So, the pattern that's inside the bags, I actually designed socks that match the pattern inside of the bags. Um, we from DC, DMV, bucket hats. That was also something that we're known for. I designed bucket hats. I did dad hats. I did sunglasses, but the sunglasses didn't. The manufacturer I worked with didn't come out well. So I'm back in the pre-planning phases. Finding manufacturers for glasses and all of that good stuff. But Yeah, I just tried to think out of the box. My biggest thing was just finding things that people don't usually have or they utilize daily, but it's not designer looking, and just making it into a high-end product at an affordable price. That's always been, that's always been my motto. That's always been something that I've, been striving for with all my products or with the brand itself. Keeping everything affordable, but having it look as if you just bought the Louis Vuitton bag or the experience of opening a product or opening a bag. Like I was looking at a competitor and I was just watching how they did their packaging. They literally ship their stuff out in a dust bag. Like they ship their bags out in a dust bag. And I'm like, that's not the way I want to be seen. I want people to feel like you just spent $2,500 on that Louis, that you just spent $3,000, on this bag, and you're getting packaging. So once you open up, the box that it was shipped in, you're like, oh, it comes in another box. And then you open that box, it's like, oh, it comes with plastic wrap. It comes in a dust bag. Oh, it's packaged again for protection. So, it's about the experience with overnight travel bags. That's the biggest thing for me. Once you open it, you're gonna be like, yo, I really just opened up something that was either crazy expensive or priceless.
That's what's up.
Facts. I haven't opened one myself, but if at this point in the podcast, if y'all want to go to his Instagram and check out, it is an experience. Like seeing people unbox it, looking at the detail behind everything from the bag to the, it's crazy. It's crazy. So
Thank
salute.
you, thank you. And look, there was something fun I did with the bag too. When I first started out, I was playing around, again, just trying to find the product that I wanted. I did my very first shipment in genuine leather. This was before I realized that a lot of people don't like genuine leather. I
Mm.
didn't know that. That was a test and trial that I had to figure out. Like you have a whole lot of people that will not purchase from you for genuine leather. So that was the switch that I made to vegan leather. But the fun thing that I did with the brand is some of the bags, the earlier products are genuine leather and they all come with a certificate. So if you would have hit me like, yo, my zipper broke, and I'm like, all right, well, which bag do you have? And they show me a picture, I'm like, oh, that's the OG line. Like that's the original bag. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's the second version of the bag. That's the third version of the bag because each shipment until I got it perfect, I was changing little things. Like there's, you got some bags out there that have OTB on it twice. I mean, not OTB. It has the OTB, then it has the overnight on a gold plate, and then overnight on gold stamping. I stopped that on my third shipment. So if you have that, I know those were one of the first two products that I released. You see what I'm saying?
You got the
The print was different. When I started the company, I did overnight all through the bag. So you have people out there that just say overnight, 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 overnight in the inside. But then the new bags have the actual it has the pattern logo. So once you open the bag, I see the pattern logo. Okay, cool. That was the third series. Like I kind of know when you bought that bag, which I think that's something cool because let's say once overnight travel bags get up there, like the Louis and the Gucci's and stuff like that, then those bags will have value because I'm not making those anymore.
mm-hmm.
Those are, I made 200 of them. You'll never get another bag that has overnight in it. It'll always be the pattern logo now. So yeah. So that was one fun thing that I did. I can tell which drop that you purchased from.
Talk about real quick. Well, first of all, shout out to my sis Shirley. She has a cigar bar down in Alabama, and I
Hmm.
was asking her about that. I was like, "Yo, somebody, like, if there was a black-owned brand that had these cigar cases, would you be interested?" You know what I'm saying? Because at the time when you showed me like the stuff about it, I didn't know if you wanted it out. And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, we support black and this and that." So shout out to the cigar smokers out there. There's a big community of folks that really rock with cigar.
Huge.
Um, the intentionality behind everything, like what just kind of developed naturally, and then what are some of the things you were like, nah, I want to make sure I do. Like you talked about, you wanted a quality product. What's something that you just stumbled onto and was just like, oh man, I ain't even intend for that to happen, but through the process, like this ended up being what it is.
Actually a lot, bro. A lot of stuff I feel like just fell on my lap. Like more so like the cigar cases. That was something I had no intentions on doing.
Yeah.
Um again, me designing watches, I had literally had no intentions on coming out with my own watch line. Um, Much respect and shout out to Tally and Twine. That's actually one of my favorite watch brands. I reached out to them. I sent them packages. You know what I'm saying? They showed me love. So it's like I've always had a passion for watches, but at the same time, it was like, all right, cool. Let me just make something that I like and see the reception I get from it. And the reception that I've been getting from the watches, people think it's an AP. Like people like, yo, that watch shining, bro. Like, what is that? And I tell them it's an overnight travel bag. They like, yo, when you dropping it? So again, I had no intentions on releasing a lot of the stuff that I did. It's just more so like I gotta get these ideas out, and as I get out, getting them out, it's people that's attracted to it. Um, for instance, I designed a bag that again, I'm sitting there talking to my assistant. Shout out to Elisa, bro. My assistant is everything. That's my right hand, that's my dog. Like Elisa brings all my visions to life. So, there is no overnight travel bags without her. So I'm sitting there talking to her one day and I'm like, yo, I need to do something different. And mind you, this wasn't anything that I was like trying to put out. I was just like, yo, it's something's burning me up. And she's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, well, I want to do something that I never seen before. She was like, what's that? I said, I never seen like a two-tone or two-pattern bag, like print on a bag. So I did actual like print on leather, and then I did embossment on half the bag. So half the bag is print and half is embossment. And she, when I got that idea out, she was like, yo, you gotta drop these. This is ridiculous. So it's stuff like that, where, like I said, it just comes out of nowhere where I just gotta get it out.
That's what's up. I like the thinking. I like to think. I got, matter of fact, we're talking here. I got two for you. Random thoughts gonna cross my mind. You laughing because you know how my mind works.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But it's gonna be dope though. It's gonna make sense.
Y'all talking about cigar boxing. Maybe think about Sean. Always runs around with his little weed kicks. Now, so you're a good guard for a man. I don't want to take your brand too far off track. But the cigar bag that smell proof, people pay big money for that. Probably same cigar bag with extra little pockets in it. Smell proof. Boom. That's number one. Number two, in this modern day and age of concealed carry, people looking for fly bags to keep their protection with them. It's also a booming market. Right of course, I had my mind on this conversation. Some way if it's a bad idea, if it's a good idea, run with it. That's crossed my mind.
Nah, so with the, like you just said, the protection piece, me being a bodyguard for 17 years, that was one thing that I thought about when I designed the crossbody. I made sure that my crossbody wasn't the same size as the Gucci's. I see a lot of people running around with the Gucci joint, no shade or nothing. But for me, I was like, all right, cool. I need to make mine a tad bit bigger because, that 40 need to go with me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I did keep that in mind when I designed it. I made it extra like super roomy. That way you can stick not just your pistol inside of it, but you can carry your wallet. You can put your phone. You can put whatever else that you need in there. Your chargers, all of that good stuff, and keep the pistol in there as well. So no, that was something that I definitely thought about. I am going to cater. I'm gonna lean a little bit further into a lot of different markets that people wouldn't expect us to be in. Like prime example, like camera bags. Yeah, that's a huge market. Like I said, the chef bag, the dang, I want to say it, but I want to hold off.
It's a lot of different specialty.
You already gave us an exclusive. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, as people are releasing their duffel bags and their backpacks, and if I feel like I'm starting to get overshadowed, it's like, bet y'all stay right here. I'll be right back, and I'm gonna go and drop something completely left field, and it's like, where is Bama? I never thought of doing that. So, like I said, I have them in the tuck. I got bags in the tuck that I do want to speak about, but I kind of just want to drop it when it's that time. But yeah, I have so many specialty bags that I have mapped out, that I have planned. That's going to definitely stand overnight travel bags in a different space versus these other bag companies that focus in on purses and crossbodies and duffels and backpacks and stuff like that.
You said chefs. Another thing, the barbers. You know, some barbers coming every day with a little frumpy bag. Some niggas got the nice little situation. It might be. It's a lot of individual submarkets who need a specialty bag that's still some fly shit. Now you got me only thinking right now.
Or collaborative efforts, because I think the one of the cigar joints you did, you were collaborating with somebody. So if you were to collaborate with a chef and they have their own little rollout, or you collaborate with a barber, y'all have a OTB time so and so. Like it's
actually that's literally what I'm doing.
Being flexible, yeah.
That's literally what I'm doing. So every specialty bag I'm releasing, I do have somebody in that lane that's attached to it. Yeah, so my chef bag, when I drop that, it's gonna be heavy. I mean, I already got my chefs lined up. Like
I seen Chef Anthony was
that's my brother.
Yeah, I seen him on the socials modeling some of the stuff. So yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, big shout out to Anthony. That's my brother, man. Yeah, like I said, when I drop the chef bag, man, it's going to be a lot of major celebrities in that lane that's going to be dropping with the bag. Because again, what I'm putting out is different. It's not the same everyday chef bag or chef rolling knife set that you see. This is going to be something completely different, super special. Yeah, so it's about to go crazy.
Well, everybody's going to tap in from listening to your story, hearing all the new stuff you got coming out. Again, we appreciate your time. You're officially part of the fam now. Well, you was already part of the fam, but like it's official now because you're on the pod. Let everybody know where they can find you, the socials, the website, how they can support, how we can support. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, y'all can follow me at My Overnight Travel Bags. That's my handle on all platforms, YouTube included. Then you can purchase from overnighttravelbags.com. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram and TikTok being the main two platforms I focus on. Yeah, that's how to find me. Y'all can see me out every weekend. I'm literally all over the DMV. If it's not the Baltimore Comedy Factory, DC Comedy Factory, DC Comedy Law, DC Improv, MGM, Maryland Live, Horseshoe, like CFG. I'm literally everywhere. So yeah, if y'all see me, just stop me, holla at me.
Yes, sir. Hey man, I appreciate the conversation. Definitely got some knowledge, inspirational, some good things to live by. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you.
Nah, listen, thank y'all for having me. This is one key thing that I do want to put out there too. So as a new brand, a lot of people don't know this because I don't really talk about accomplishments because that's not what I'm in it for. But I have done a lot of dope stuff that, I just want to highlight real quick.
Yeah.
Starting a brand in 2023, I've done the Grammys, I've done the Oscars twice, doing the gifting suites. I've designed for U.S. Olympian Raven Saunders that took the bags to Paris. I just did the 40th anniversary of Whitney Houston's legacy celebration. Yeah, I would say take out every opportunity as long as it makes sense. Like I said, there's no too big or too small for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Bags was highlighted down at Essence. Like we literally be all over the place. Yeah, I'm real big on strong relationships and just expanding that network. I feel like your network is your net worth. You gotta start developing a team, have people that believe in you, keep good people around you, and you will go far. So that's one of the best pieces of advice that I live by.
Good words to live by.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So I'm Nate. That's Benz. You've heard from Bobby. Me and Benz, we just 2 of 12 black men in the community, doing some dope stuff through financial literacy and philanthropy and all kind of good stuff. Just to be for us what we wish we had coming up. And it's gonna be a lot of young people. It's gonna be a lot of entrepreneurs that hear Bobby's story, that get motivated to just step out on faith and follow what God's telling them to follow. If you got that little thing inside you that's telling you to go do something, man, don't ignore that. if you got a
Facts.
reoccurring dream that's coming up, don't ignore that. Like these are signs from the Lord above himself, letting you know that these things are possible. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, do what Bobby says, follow that, and continue to be extraordinary, man. We appreciate y'all time. Bobby, appreciate you. And we'll holler at y'all on the next episode.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Sir.